Good morning, everybody. Buenos días. Good morning. So this is so great to be here, and actually it's just so incredible experience that we all are standing together as a community, coming together to also fight for the future. When we think about bread, that we want bread, we want the economic safety, we want a good pay for a good work, we want the benefits, and we want roses too. We want the beautiful things in life. We want to be able to spend time with our families, with our kids, with our community. So let me just thank you so much, the Loris History Center, for bringing us here all together. But also, I want to just say that this is when I think about the road to justice. I think about these moments that spark this sense of we can do things together. When hope trumps despair, when courage trumps fear, and this moment gives us all of that. So you will think about Susan Anthony, born in 1872 and being arrested for that. You can think about auto workers who occupied the Flint Fisher auto parts for 44 days. Rosa Parks sitting down on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama. Cesar Chavez farm worker strike. And today we are honoring these women, immigrant women, who decided that that was enough with exploitation. No more of that. And when the mill owners came down and said, we're going to cut your pay, they say no more. They storm out and they chant that they were together. That when it's an injury to one, it's an injury to all. So I want to say this in Spanish and see if we can hear a little bit. So we can imagine 100 years ago, right here, that we can see the echo when we all coming together. An injury to one, an injury to all. Un daño contra uno, un daño contra todos. Un daño contra uno. And I gotta tell you that that act of coming together put us a little bit closer to our road, our journey for justice. We should just think about 100 years ago and the conditions that we were having back then. The pay was so low that workers couldn't afford to buy meat for their children. They fed them beans and bread. 100 years ago, mortality rate was 50% for children who were the age of 6. And as we just heard, yes, 36 out of 100 men and women who work in the mills didn't make it to the age of 25. And so much has changed, and when we see and back to the history, and when we see where we at now, you know, women have the right to vote, workers have the right legally to join a union. African Americans, they're not forced to sit in the back of the bus. And we have, as a community, we workers in America, we enjoy to being able to go to a safe workplace. And we have a minimum wage. But our minimum wage is so low, okay? And just like 1912, there is a big gap right now between the rich and the poor. And we all know this. We have here the 99%, and we all, I think here, we're part of the 99%. And while executives are making record profits, families barely get by. They struggle every day to pay the bills, to put food on the table. And too many people right now have lost too much. Has lost their homes, their jobs, and much more. And Just right now, the income inequality is at its worst since 1920s. And let me just go back 80 years after the Bretton Woods strike. Many in the labor movement still felt that immigrants would not and could not strike. Life for immigrants was hard, so hard that in 1990, immigrants in Los Angeles, janitors, who despite of cleaning some of the wealthiest real estate properties in the world, they still live in poverty. They also say enough. And that strike also sparked a movement across the country for many janitors nowadays. And I was very fortunate to be part of that. And I really witnessed right there that something that really changed me forever. Even coming with the different backgrounds and maybe different languages and different countries, I was able to see what happened when people come together, when workers come together, when people unite with a single goal, have a better future for yourselves and for your families. And I was able to see that we were a little bit closer to justice. Well, 10 years ago, here in Massachusetts, janitors did the same thing, and they say enough. And they decided, and some of them were here from Lawrence, and I have a group of our members who are way in the back, who they also said, no more. They were a choice that they were making, and they say no more. And they decided, they made a choice to go on strike for 3 weeks. And guess what? They won. And they came back stronger than before. But that moment also put us in this road of justice, a little bit closer. And I want to just say that when I said a little bit closer, it's because we have a very long way to go. We know that justice is in the horizon, but it's out of our grasp. But there is something that is being learned in the mill strike, where it's not only enough to win. Well, what we need to do is continue to fight, to continue to grow, to continue to organize, to continue to agitate for a better life, for a better way for everybody. And just like today, as we honor this woman, this brave woman, we also honor history, we lean on history, and we learn from history. But our future is ours to make. It's ours to make better, and ours to make more just. So thank you so much, and it's just great to be here.